Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. In this video we want to talk about the different scenarios for Bitcoin. I also show you a bullish scenario, which is not my primary expectation. I showed you that in the previous videos already, but just want to make sure you're prepared. It is not the most likely one for me, but it's certainly a possibility. So let's take a look here at the, so I go let's say from the most bullish to the most bearish scenario. There are three scenarios I'd like to show you. The bullish scenario is this one highlighted in white, the 5 waves to the upside. It is basically the wave count that I assume for Ethereum as well. The problem here is that due to the chart structure, it is just not the most likely one for Bitcoin. It is the problem that this wave 1 to the upside here, you can see that wave 1 is just, it's not an impulse. So we would have to count it as a diagonal pattern, which is fine. You know, you can count it like that, but it's not a great way of doing it. So it just doesn't give the confidence. So that's sort of the first reason why I don't consider this count the primary expectation. So wave 1 to the upside, then here a wave 2 to the downside to around 18.2k. That was the middle of October. Yeah, the problem here is that we came down actually a bit too low. Yes, we didn't invalidate, but we came close to invalidation. Then a wave 3 to the upside would need to happen now, a wave 4 down and a wave 5 up. Okay, so this wave 3 to the upside would reach, or would have to reach, the 29k level. Let me show you why. Because if I measure the wave 1 high to the wave 2 low, Bitcoin's target for the third wave would be around 29.7 to 30k. That is, if you've watched the Ethereum videos, Ethereum would need to do a $3,000, would need to reach $3,000 in this third wave. So if they move together, that is what Bitcoin would reach and what Bitcoin would need to reach. So from that point of view, it looks like Ethereum would do a 2x and Bitcoin wouldn't. Yeah, so Ethereum would move from roughly $1,500 to $1,600 to $3,000, whereas Bitcoin would move up 40 to 50%. Okay, so Ethereum 100% and Bitcoin 40-50%. So from that point of view, just by looking at the potential, it would make more sense from my point of view to trade Ethereum, and that is why I'm doing it. So the point here is Ethereum has more potential in the third wave than Bitcoin, and Ethereum has a better chart, which means the structure is more likely to work out. Does it mean Bitcoin has to go down? No, no, no. Bitcoin could also move up, but it is just the less likely or the less clear chart. It is not that clear. It's not as clear as Ethereum, and the potential is lower. So if I compare both, why would I trade Bitcoin? Right. So that's just my thought process. That's the most bullish option, and we would now be in this third wave, basically be on the same page with Ethereum. Then we've got the, let's say, the less bearish one, the medium scenario. That's a stupid word. The scenario which sits between this bullish one and the bearish one, right? Let's keep it like that. That is a triangle option that I've not really talked about before, because it would just mean that we can be in many more weeks of sideways movement, which is entirely possible. So in this particular scenario, when we look at the bearish option, which we've always talked about, is that the wave 4 peaked actually here at around 25k. And we're now in the fifth wave down. That is the bearish option I'm going to take you through after the triangle option. But the triangle shows us shows us the possibility that we're in a very long triangle. So since the June low, we've moved up in a wave A. So basically, a wave A of an ABCDE triangle. Then we came down in a wave B. We're now in a wave C to the upside. That could theoretically reach the 25.2k level. Then there'll be a D down and an E up. And the triangle would really only finish where the wave E tops. Yeah, and that would also be the completion of the wave 4. And only afterwards, Bitcoin would start to move down. Yeah, so I hope this explains why, and there are different ways. I could put the wave B here, I can put the wave B here. It doesn't really make a great difference to the count. And the problem with this count is that it would just leave a lot more space to the upside. So here we could go to this scenario to leave Bitcoin a bit more space if it pushes higher. It's all a matter of interpretation, especially with Bitcoin. Yeah, the chart is messy. It is just what it is. You know, I can't change that. And therefore it just leaves a lot of options. And this has to do with the situation that the market is just in a state of uncertainty. So we would then assume that in this C wave, so we're currently working on this C wave, right? And in this C wave, my assumption would be that we have done a WXY, or we're currently working on a WXY pattern. So the wave W would peak here. The wave X was actually a triangle, which bottomed out here. And the wave Y is ongoing now. So the wave Y of C is ongoing now. And in this Y wave, we have an ABC pattern. Yeah, the Y wave is a corrective wave. So my view is that this was wave A, which peaked here at 21K. We came down yesterday in the last few days in a B wave, and we are now moving up in wave C. So we've got different targets here to measure for this C wave. We could, for example, simply measure the length of the A wave. So for example, I just give you some ideas. We measure the wave, the length of the wave A, and we compare it to the length of the C wave, and the target would be here 22,858. That's one target. Another way of measuring the target is to take the length of the wave W, add it to the beginning of the Y wave, and then we get, for example, the 1-to-1 ratio would take us to 21,553, and the 1.618 would take us to 23K. So we've got a bit of confluence here around 23K. And another way of measuring is to compare the waves A and C, so the wave A length, taking that, comparing it, and the wave the 1-to-1 ratio would take us to 21.9K, and the 1.618 extension also to 23K. So there seems to be a lot of confluence in the 23K area. The point I try to make here is there is more upside potential. Yeah, also in the bearish count that I'm going to show you, there is more upside potential. So the point here is to just have an open mind with Bitcoin. It is entirely possible we are in this triangle, which could take us more higher. But the question is all about, how do you interpret this and which one is the most likely option? This is one that I think is actually fairly likely, because it could take us, to be honest, it could take us in an extreme case to the 25.3K area. And that would allow, possibly, depending on how it turns out, could allow Ethereum to push to the $3,000 area to complete its wave 3, right? And Bitcoin could just move in this triangle and move just sideways. And this option is not too unlikely because of the messiness of this chart. This is just not a clear impulse, whereas Ethereum has created an impulsive wave structure, okay? Now, and then we've got the bearish option, which is this one. So it is the wave 4 peaked here, right? And then we're moving down now in the wave 5. And in this fifth wave, we've got 3 waves, A, B, C. And we are now in the C wave. And the C wave is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is exactly the option that we talked about in the previous videos. So actually, it's my primary expectation. Depending on how high we go, I will, of course, change the primary expectation. I think it's important to understand from which price levels this one here will become very unlikely, and it will become very unlikely above the 22K area, right? But in the very short term, these are fairly similar, these counts. So in the very short term, if I go back to the 1 hour chart, we assume that Bitcoin is in this C wave of the wave 2. So in a wave 2, we've got obviously ABC. So the wave B bottomed here at 18.2K. Moved up in a 1, came down in a 2. We're now in the process of moving up in a third wave, coming down in 4, moving up in 5. That would be still expected. Yeah, target possibility here also 21.7 to 22.5K, I would say. Yeah, so this is sort of the range that we're looking at. I mean, for the third wave itself, we've got specified already 21.1 to 21.8K. for the third wave here in green. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, and we're now in this third wave. And in the third wave, we've done wave 1, 2, 3. We've come down in 4 and moved up in 5. Here, very important to highlight the fact that we've come down so much. Yeah, you will remember I told you the 20k level is important, but we briefly broke out of the 50% retracement box. So this makes a wave 4 not necessarily less likely, but it's already a sign that it could have been something different. So it could have been, for example, this B wave of the triangle, because B wave can retrace a bit more. I'm just saying that is also why it made me now think about a different option, which is this triangle option, which I'll keep on the radar and keep you aware of. Now on this way, in this fifth wave to the upside of wave 3. And yeah, this can turn out in different ways. So I gave you an idea yesterday that if we get into this area here, we could be in a wave 2. Now we haven't done that yet. In fact, my view now actually is that this could have been already a 1, 2, and this is already another 1, 2 setup here. But take that out for now, because we seem to be pushing higher. It's a little bit unclear how this is going. Or no, it's this is for me at the moment the best way of counting this 1, 2, and the wave 3 is now ongoing. But this is micro counting, so I wouldn't put too much emphasis on the micro of the micro counts, right? The point here is that we expect further upside, especially as long as we're staying above the 20,420 level. Yeah, and then we could reach this area maybe over the weekend. I guess, I mean, today is Saturday. Saturday is normally a quiet day, so we'll see if we get there on the weekend. But the point here is that in all of these options that I showed you, the triangle, this one here, the bearish one, and the bullish one, further upside is expected. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.